Welcome everybody to another installment of my Ramble series. Jordy Weeds recently spoke about one of my videos, and he said, "Oh well, this is about Agent of Doubt's ramble or ponage or anything." You know what? I actually label the videos what they are. So if this is a ramble video, you'll see ramble in the title. If you don't see ramble or ponage, that wasn't part of my series of them. I was actually trying to be nice in the video that he was describing. Anyways, I would just figure that after like years of doing this, people would catch on to the pattern. Here's part of the pattern. You have never seen any condensation on the outside of one of my Mountain Dew cans, because I do prefer them at room temperature. Not warm. You know, I'm not trying to drink donkey piss here, but yeah, I just don't like cold food, especially ice cream. I'm looking at you, Ice Cream Bob, Raw 5069. Every time I made a video to him was a sacrifice on my part because I hate cold food. All cold food. I hate cold. So, the overarching theme of this ramble is probably going to be different depending on who is watching the video. But I'm going to start the first of those themes with AldusValor. I win the internets. Now, a while back, we were having a little back and forth about who could contribute the most to the In God We Rust campaign, marking bills and whatnot. And he had a very valuable old bill that he showed for that video series, that collaboration among many channels. But then I showed this, and I marked out the T into the rust, and then made this giant bill given out by this church here. I marked it, and you know, there's like $1 million worth of rust, right? By the way, the person on the front here, I believe that's a caricature of Elton John. Pretty much a gay icon to this church. They're like, if you like Elton John songs, you're going to hell. If you picked this bill up off the ground because they dropped it, then you're going to hell because, of course, you're greedy, right? But then, you know, symbols of what is not godly include, you know, not just like green money, you know. If you're greedy, and then you must be gay and an abomination and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. AldusValor and I have this other contest, okay? It's one of those little gentleman unspoken things, but I'm just going to say it out there for everyone. If you can make one video and get someone to make multiple videos about you, you're scoring points with each minute that they spend talking about you. Okay? It's about the ratio. So if AldusValor were to make a video about someone and then they just return fire with 10 videos, wasting 10 of their days just thinking up all these different things that they want to say to AldusValor, he is just soaking that up and feeling really good. And it's kind of a gentleman's one-upmanship here, where if I were to make some videos that pissed someone off, and I get a whole bunch of videos my way, and that was like somebody that he had previously gotten attention from, you know, there's been a few of them. One notable one had really mop-like hair. yeah, it's about how much can we monopolize somebody's time and attention and have it devoted to us. It's a very vain thing. And I just want to say that I win the internets today because I had two people in a video that lasted 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 53 seconds, and it was completely dedicated to me. Top that. These people were not in on this. They don't know about the ratio. They don't follow my channel and AldusValor's channel enough to have figured out that we really get off on this shit. This is like narcissism fed. I don't have to be narcissistic for the rest of the fucking weekend because holy shit, a video was made to me and it's an hour and 42 minutes and 53 seconds long. Wow. So, I think that's a little bit better than finding weird bills to mark out the T in trust and trying to spar with that. I think that I have won the internets in a completely different category now. And the video that I'm talking about, I will link in the description box because I'm not trying to take any attention away from her. Like, some people, they really want you to, like, focus all your attention on them. And they don't realize that you're aware that everyone wants all of your attention on them. You know? There's a kind of meta-analysis that you can make about internet narcissism. You know? I will say Shani is me's name. I'll shout out her new channel, The Amazing Ex-Atheist, where she wants people to go for, I guess, these sort of things because she now thinks that she has received a calling, like a message from God, like telepathy and visions and shit, right? She's got this message like she is supposed to minister to us. Wow. I try to be narcissistic, you know? I'm in, like, gentleman contests about how narcissistic we can be, but holy shit, you know? Oh, God, speaking to you. That's like this huge delusion of grandeur to think that you, out of all the other people on the internet, have been tapped by God for your input. Please take a look at what you have to offer and think about, is it anything different than anybody else has to say? Because there's a certain class of YouTuber that has been dealing with apologetics for years now. Okay? There's me, there's AldusValor, there's dozens of others. That when you come with Apologetics 101 bullshit, we will dish the answer right back to you and slap that shit right out your mouth. Okay? So, it all ties together, everything that I'm going to say in this video, but the arch will look different for different people who are watching, okay? First, I only watched half of the video so far because I do have some things to do today, but the link, everyone else can listen to it themselves, and I will make a response to the other half because I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. I just have to break shit down because of the constraints of my day. So, this guy that apparently is Shani's husband, he looks like Krazy2DKore's evil twin brother. Like, seriously, like, go look at Krazy2DKore's channel. I'll leave a link. And then look at this guy in this video and you'll be like, what? I think they might have been separated at birth. And it's weird because Krazy2DKore, for the longest time, was AldusValor's hench Christian, doing his evil bidding. And so all of this ties together. This, like I said, the arc that you see is probably based on you, not what I'm saying. You're going to see the theme in a completely different way. The only thing that I really felt like Shani and her husband got right in the whole thing was they corrected me that it was not Meeper that was the Muppet's name. It was Beaker. And I feel so bad about that, for not knowing the name of every Muppet. And strangely enough, there's this thing where I've seen a lot of backlash against, like, feminism and stuff, and some people saying that they're feminists and being called, like, weird for it, and some people trolling people by saying, why aren't you kowtowing to this and whatnot. There's this notion that I have in my head that Shani sets feminism back about a decade when she says that I have a crush on her, and that must be the case because I'm making videos to her. And the only reason why I made a response video to her in the past was because she had been showing a lot of cleavage, and of course I was in love with that, and I don't have anything else going for me. It's just a really common thing for some people to dismiss any sort of criticism that they receive from the opposite sex as motivated by their attraction to them. And it's more common, I find, in theistic people, and most common in Muslims, when they say that if you were to see this woman's hair, you know, you'd just be driven wildly mad because you're a man, you know. That sort of, you know, the women must cover their hair or else they're at fault because the men just can't control themselves. They're just going to act that way. So if Shani shows her boobs, I'm of course going to fall in love. You know, and so now she has to cover up with a shawl. It's a green shawl that matches my Mountain Dew can, right? Or else or so she says in her videos. I really feel like that really does set back feminism and the fight for equality for women. To just dismiss somebody's criticisms as motivated by sexual urges. You know, of course, the only reason why I'm giving you any attention whatsoever must be that I think you're so sexy, right? No. And the assumption was made that I don't have a girlfriend. And I think that's actually why she put her husband in the video to begin with. Well, like, she doesn't need backup. She's made videos before, but this particular one, she's showing off, like, hey, don't look at me as a sexual object because I'm attached to this other person, right? Hope that ruins your boner. I don't even want to be mean and petty and talk about why I'm not attracted to Shani in that way. I'm just going to say that I'm not. And in fact, I have been enjoying watching her video with her husband whilst chatting online with my girlfriend. And link in the description box just for proof that I had a girl in the general vicinity of me. But yeah, it is possible. Um, yeah, and no, I'm not attracted to every girl that I have made a video response to. But I do see the theme that people assume that. I saw it with South Dakota Girl 30, 31, 32, and all the other permutations of her name. I saw that people assumed that I was hitting on her by poning her, which is not the case. And I saw it with Beauty standing for him, and seeing it now with Shani, and just basically, I guess girls figure that if you give them any attention, and address what they're actually saying, then you must be sexually attracted to them. It's not the case. Not at all. And to make that mistake really does set back women's lib. We can actually have a discussion and be from two separate genders and not have sexuality come into play. It is possible. You just have to let it happen. And that was not innuendo. Holy shit. It it is possible. And I wish that board discourse online were more removed from people just automatically assuming that you only respond to the girls that you find attractive. Of course, I did just see that a lot of people just subscribe Jacqueline Glenn because of a shout out from the Thinking Atheist, and I do assume that a giant majority of the people who just subscribe to her would probably be 90% male and just there to say tits or GTFO, but it's YouTube. Yeah. If you have made it this far into this Ramble video, please take a guess at how old I am. Because Shani and her husband, I guess, assume that I'm 40. And yeah, I just want to know other people's guesses as to my age. We've got their guess. And I think 40 is actually not so much an age as a concept. Like, 40-year-old guy trolling the internet to respond to girls in their 20s. Like, it's a stereotype. And for somebody to start guessing that your age is of that range, after saying that it must be that you're attracted to her, I think it's just making someone sound creepier, So, one of the things that Shani's husband had a problem with was me describing the powers of the god that they follow as being magical. And what I would like to ask is, what is your definition of magic? And why does your God not fit that definition? What is special about the supernaturality of your God that doesn't deserve being labeled magic? back to completing the other end of an arc here, you probably wouldn't like if this bill and all the real bills in the world said, "In Allah we trust." Right? Because there's a certain sense of Christianity being special in our country. So there's little fights about, God and the Pledge of Allegiance and God on our money. And there'll probably be one on the side of secularists in our lifetime. But there's also little things like the peer pressure that a Christian will put on somebody who isn't Christian to not call what their God does magic. That term doesn't apply, Why not? I think it's because you want a special association with the miracles and all that is set aside from everything else, because the word magic could blanketly cover everything, and you could assume that most of those things that were magic were either not properly explained or they were faked. So you don't want that association, because you want complete adherence to the idea that the miracles that were performed in the stories in the Bible were completely real, and all the miracles that you experience, that you can get firsthand testimony of, and they don't seem to be verifiable or possible in controlled settings, but all of those firsthand stories, those are true, those are real, and it's just a form of special pleading. Whenever anyone wants special rules for the particular ideas that they are espousing, you should be very skeptical. Because if what they were trying to convey to you was real and true, they wouldn't need you to use special rules and special modes of thinking in order to accept it. You wouldn't have to set aside your normal skepticism to believe it. You wouldn't require faith if it was true. You could find evidence. So I will continue to call things magic when they fit a general definition of magic. Whenever you say bless you, I'm going to feel like you just magically enchanted me with your words. Whenever you pray, I'm going to think of that as magically entreating the deity that you like to associate with. Whenever you say that you got a message from God, I'm going to say that your God magically spoke to you with telepathy. If the shoe fits, wear it. There's nothing special about what you're describing other than, it's the God that you believe in. So I should give a little bit more reverence to it and not use the same terms that I use for all the other claims that use the similar mechanisms that you seem to be describing. When you try to push that usage onto everyone else, that through a sense of peer pressure, I just find it bigoted in the sense that you believe that your own culture is better than everybody else's, and you're trying to push your views onto other people. That's why there is the pushback in the way that I speak. That's why I say your God rather than our God. I don't believe in your God. You know, that's the one that you chose to believe in, not me. So in many instances where you would prefer that I say God or our God, I'm going to say your God. Okay? You have not proven the existence of your God at all. You fail at that repeatedly. I guess the last thing I really wanted to touch on here before a really silly demonstration of something. The last thing I wanted to touch on in this video was when Shani said in her video, when she's replaying what I said, like, we're an abomination. She says, yes, you are an abomination. Atheists are an abomination. I can't change what the Bible says. First of all, you're assuming the infallibility of the Bible, and I understand that that is one of the tenets of your particular brand of Christianity. And when you call atheists abominations, for some reason you're allowed to ignore the whole judge not thing. But understand from my perspective, there have been people in history who said things like, I'm just following orders. You know, they were written down right here, and you know, I'm not to blame. These were the orders that I received, you know. And those people that said that were still judged on their actions. When you see the phrase that this certain group of people are an abomination, I'm telling you that I hold you responsible if you choose to believe it. And saying, well, I don't have any choice, I have to believe it because it was written down in this book, is not good enough for me. I don't believe in the infallibility of that book. I don't believe in the magical nature of that book. I don't believe that it was sent from any magical being. Okay? It was written by men. Fallible men. Hateful, fallible men. And if you choose to live your life and spew hateful things at people because of what you read in that book, that is your choice. You made that choice. You don't get to absolve yourself of responsibility by saying, oh, well, it was in this book. That was your choice. So, last thing I want to show is something for Shani's husband. Really quick. Be right back. This is my mini fridge. It's not currently plugged in, but it works. I don't appreciate people who use poverty to shame other people. And saying that, oh, it only costs $100. You know, you should go get one. So gross that you're drinking warm soda. That was bullshit. Okay? There are people on YouTube who can't afford a mini fridge. And your points don't sound any greater just because you said that I need to spend some money on something. So, yeah. There's a lot of things that I'm not going to shame people for. But choosing to hate on other people is one of those things that I've Personally just decided in my life I'm going to call out and shame. So when I say shame on you for choosing to hate people who don't believe the same magical beliefs as you, I do feel justified in that. Because it brings a lot of pain and suffering to the world.